Well, welcome into the mobile edition of the Toby Foreman Show. Actually, we're on the road to DeSoto for our playoff game, by-district playoff game. So we're joining you from the road. And so, Toby, how's it going, brother?
It's going really good, and we're excited. This is 5 out of 6 years now we've been in the postseason, and I know the kids are excited. Our fans are excited. We're back in 6A, so it'll be 6A postseason ball as opposed to 5A postseason ball. But doesn't seem like we've caught much of a break on our opponents, whether we've been in 5A or 6A.
No, sir. And you had that bye week last week, so you had to just watch everything unfold in front of you. And then you had DeSoto, so you had to start looking at them right off the bat. Yeah,
we did. And there was some shocking scores last week across the state. There was some shocking scores in this area, and so this is the time of the year, and you got to understand. I don't know how many years I've been coaching a long time, and I've been in the postseason a long time, but everybody's record to this point is 0-0, and so anything's possible, and you could be a team that ranked high and expected to come out and win by a lot of points, and my old coach used to tell me this all the time. He said, somebody's going to lose in the first round that shouldn't. Don't let it be you. And that's the truth, you know what I mean? And so for us, I would say we're probably, if you look on paper, we're probably a heavy underdog. Not a whole lot of folks expecting us to win. But, we're real quiet. We work our butts off, and we prepare for every opponent just like they're the same, and so we don't take anybody lightly. I know Coach Mathis and those guys are not going to take us lightly. So, we're excited about the opportunity to represent Shoemaker and Clean ISD in the postseason for 2024.
On any given day, they say, on any given day. And you had some kids sign some letters of intent on Wednesday to move on to the next level in some sports too, didn't you?
Yeah, we had two of our baseball players. I can't remember exactly where they went. I know one of them went to UTSA, and then the other I cannot remember where he signed. But that's a big deal. This is the early version of the signing, and we started off with two baseball players right off the bat, and there's definitely more to come. We'll have a lot in football and basketball and all the other sports. Our coaches do a great job of promoting our student athletes, and our student athletes do a great job of earning scholarships, both academically and athletically. So, we're proud of that, and what a way to start the week off.
Yeah. And I know the kids have been in the training room. The trainers have been working overtime on these kids and the injuries you've had. It just seems to be the time of the year you didn't want to have the injuries, and here they all came.
Yeah, the first about 5-6 games, we were pretty healthy, and then it started. It happens in waves, and it's something we needed that bye. We had the bye week. We'll get a couple people back. I'm not going to really go into details on who, but we were missing 6 starters against Harker Heights 2 weeks ago after Maurice Starr got hurt in the game, and so we started the game missing 5. Then he got hurt and made 6, but. Feel really good about where we're at right now as far as health-wise. It's really as good as you can be in November. November, nobody's healthy. I went and scouted last week, Lancaster and DeSoto, and they had guys that were injured on both sides. So, no excuses. That's not an excuse for any game we play this year, and it won't be for this one. But we are excited to get some people back, and whether it be backups or starters, depth is what you're going to need in this game because they're like Noah's Ark. They got 2 of everything, you know what I mean?
I noticed that in the playoff game we attended, you and I, a couple of years ago. We went and watched DeSoto play Harker Heights, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And they had about 100 kids over there on the sidelines, and some of them were about twice the size of us.
Yeah, they got some really big kids, and, we actually faced off against them in 2020 football season, and they beat us 50-something and 30-something, and I really thought we competed well. They were just better. They were a better team, and they won that year. And I think they went 4 or 5 rounds, and I think Duncanville knocked them off, so they must win 4 rounds. But and then now they're the 2-time defending small school 6A defending state champions, and so we can't get away from state champions. We just got knocked out the last 2 years by Aledo, and now we're facing the 2-time defending 6A Division II state champions. So the road hasn't gotten easier, but like I said, I told our kids this week, I said, this don't have anything to do with DeSoto. It's got everything to do about Shoemaker. Mm-hmm. And I said, what are you about? I said, because everybody's going to see on Thursday, what you're about. And I believe what we're about is a great work ethic. We're about competing and we're about playing together as a team. And those three things will take you a long ways. And I attribute that to, because we've had struggles this year. We've struggled mightily at times on both sides of the ball and special teams, but we've overcome it. I mean, if we were laying odds here in about mid-season, I don't know how many folks would have picked us to make the postseason, even because we just weren't playing consistent at all. And finally, we got some consistency in our offense and our defense and special teams, and now we've kind of arrived at this point, and we're ready to go. Take on the DeSoto Eagles.
Hey, great turnout Wednesday night at Raising Cane's. Had a football fundraiser for the Booster Club. Lots of people came through the drive-through. They almost got you to work the drive-through, I know. I'm glad they didn't let you do that. You would have been probably giving away food, but we don't want that to happen. But great crowd at Raising Cane's, and we appreciate them so much for letting us do this. And they're great members of the community. But good crowd on hand, and got to talk to some kids. Always like to do that.
Yeah, anytime, they do a great job right there off Fort Hood Street. Raising Cane's does a great job of supporting all the clean ISD schools and allowing us to fundraise as their business. They allow you to go in and conduct your interviews week in and week out, and without a lot of hassle. And we take up probably a good amount of space in there, but we definitely help their business and they help us. And so, we appreciate them, and we appreciate all the fans that came out, and the student athletes and students and faculty that came out and supported this fundraiser. And it's been a great year for this. This is the playoff edition. You kind of get 2 times a year you get us in there, and then you earn that third one. And so, like I said, this is my 5th time out of 6 years to be in the playoff edition of the evening I-14 sports interviews, and I know our kids enjoy that. We get through a practice a little early, and it gives them incentive. And I always have incentives for them. If X amount of kids show up, then we do this and we do that. But they enjoy it, and I know they enjoy an opportunity to be on your show. And I told them, Dad, I said, "Nah, I don't know who I'm gonna pick to be on that show." I told them this yesterday, but we picked some good young men, and they spoke well, and we even have some guest speakers that show up from time to time.
Yeah, it's great. It's family, and I feel that every time I walk into your locker room, into that coach's office, it's handshakes, high fives, fist bumps, and we cut up with each other like we're brothers. And I feel so at home at your place, and that's the feeling I get around the team, and that has to do. I don't care what you say. That comes back to you, brother, and the job that you've done there at Shoemaker. And done great things with these guys. And I just look on Saturdays and I see kids playing all over the place, all over major colleges, and it's an attribution to what you and your coaches have done. So shout out to y'all guys, because nobody ever does that probably.
Well, I appreciate that, and like I said, we appreciate what you do for us, and our kids just love you. When they see you come around, they get excited because they think they might be promoted somehow on social media, but more importantly, they really truly do appreciate what you do for them, and that's what it's really about. We're both doing this for the kids of Killeen and the kids of this area, and I do believe not only the students that are current, but a lot of folks over the last 30 years. Is it 30 years?
30 years.
Over the last 30 years here in Killeen ISD, really do appreciate, and I do believe they tune in, and because they recognize that you've been the consistent through all the athletic directors, through all the head coaches, through all the athletes, through all the great teams. I mean, you think about all the teams that you've seen.
Oh, man.
And the athletes, if you could put together an all-star team, that thing would, that group wouldn't lose,
Man.
Hopefully I'd be somewhere on that coaching staff, maybe backup tight ends or something like that.
Right there with Ross. You got to be there with Ross. Ross is going to be somewhere in that area.
Well, that's funny. To be mentioned with Ross Rogers is a great thing. It was funny you bring him up, because I was thinking about him the other day. It was a pleasure and an honor to coach against Ross, and really the guys that I've coached against since I've been here, and the one, you go back in time, your Robert Walkers, your Ross Rogers, I guess, do we throw Jerry Edwards in that mix right
Trent
there?
Gregory.
That's right. Bless his soul, Trent Gregory. There's been some great coaches that have come through here, and that have not only won ball games, but affected communities, not just individual lives, just the entire community. And that don't soon get forgotten, and it shouldn't be, man, because of you. You're kind of the consistent, the go-between between a lot of those guys, and so we just appreciate that. And like I said, you don't have to be doing this on a random weeknight in November. The weather is nice, I would say, on a cold November night, but it ain't gotten cold yet. But we just appreciate all the love that you give us, and hopefully this will continue for many, many years to come.
Hey, I want to see you next week, baby, one way or the other. You know that, but I want to see a scouting report for the next team laying on your desk. That's
yes,
what I want to see. So anything can happen. Just go out there and lay it all on the field.
Well, I will tell you, I already know the location for the next round. We take care of our business, and it'll be between Forney and one of the Wiley schools. So I'm not going to let that out of the bag yet, but we've already arranged that. We were actually arranged that on Tuesday. So, that's exciting. This is just an exciting time of the year because you're playing at different destinations, and it's teams you rarely get to play. And it's not just a familiar foe. You're playing the Killeen Highs and the Ellisons and the Midways and Temples. Yeah. You get to go see a different, unfamiliar face, and that's good for our opponent and it's good for us.
All right. Beat the Eagles is what Dan has to say, and as Toby Foreman always says.
Thank y'all for coming out, and as always, go Gray Wolves.